Hey guys, what we're going to work on today is actually finding the sources that you're going to use in your research paper. You need a total of 3 sources. 2 sources to find the quotes that you're going to use in your body paragraph, and 1 source to find information for the counterclaim or the opposite of your argument. The first thing you need to do today is take that sheet that we worked on last time with your claim, your 2 main points, and your counterclaim, and actually copy that into this Google Doc that I had you save. So remember, that's going to be in your ELA folder in your drive. Go ahead and do that at this time if you haven't done so already. Now, the cool thing about Google is that it has added recently a research feature that allows you to research without ever leaving your notes page. You're going to use this entire page to actually document everything that you need to write your paper. So when we get done over the next couple of days with researching, everything you need to put in your paper will be on this one document that you already have saved. If you look down here, you have source 1, source 2, and then source 3. So you're going to have 3 total sources, and in each one there's a spot to record the information that you're going to need: the title, the web address, the author's names, the date published, a quote for supporting point number 1 that you have, a quote from supporting point 2 for each of those 2 sources, and then information for your counterclaim. Now, I'm going to go up here and show you how to use the research tab to actually find your quotes. Now, for this paper, you are using direct quotes, meaning you have to have the author's exact words and you need to be putting it in quotes. No paraphrasing, which is putting it into your own words. You have to use 2 direct quotes per body paragraph. That means you're going to need 4 quotes total for your 2 body paragraphs, and then a quote for the counterclaim in your last paragraph. Okay, so how do I go about researching this claim? Well, I'm going to look at my 2 main points. For my first source, I'm going to have information from source number 1 that supports my point, and then from source number 1 that supports point 2. So remember, my claim is that social media sites take away the importance of face-to-face communication. My 2 main points: number 1, social media allows people to post negative and abusive comments without having to deal with the consequence. And then friendships aren't as meaningful when they're based on messaging and social media sites. So my goal is to find a source that would have information about these points. So how do I do that? Well, there are a couple of ways I can do it directly within this document. I'm going to go up to my claim and I'm going to highlight social media sites. And to get the research tab that I'm going to use to find the outside sources, I'm going to right click. And you'll see an option pops up that says research social media sites. I'm going to click on that. So over here, Google has this nifty research tab that gives me a whole bunch of sources that I might use. Now, we're not done yet. Now, you might be thinking, woohoo, I'm just going to copy and paste my entire claim and then I'm just going to grab the first couple of sources. Resist that urge, because there are a couple of steps you have to do first. First thing is, I'm getting a ton of information, but none of these really have anything to do with my 2 main points because my search term isn't specific enough. So what I need to do is go in and add some more things to that search term. I'm going to add in this idea of face-to-face communication. So if I copy that and then paste it into my search, notice how it's giving me more specific details, and that's what I want. These websites are going to be more closely related to the actual topic of my claim and my 2 main points than if I just searched social media sites. And you want to be as specific as possible. If you're having trouble coming up with search terms, let me know and I'll work with you to help figure that out. But we're still not done. Here's why. What I just popped up there is going to be all sources that are not going to necessarily be entirely credible. So this part is super important. I have to filter this so that I'm only getting credible sources. So I have to tell Google what I want it to do in order to get those credible sources. So I'm going to scroll to the end of my search term and I'm going to add something very important. I'm going to put a space, then I'm going to put site, S-I-T-E, and then a colon, which is the 2 dots. You're going to have to hit shift, and then a period edu. Then when I click return, Google is now giving me, if I scroll down to where it says web results, only sources that come from credible websites. So sources that are educational, that's what the .edu stands for. I want you guys to make sure that you're filtering, because without that filter, you're not sure that sites are credible. I don't want to see sources from .coms, random .orgs that are people's blogs, that type of thing. And if you don't filter it and you end up using sources that aren't credible, you will lose major points, because that's part of what we're looking for, is that you can filter out and only use credible sources. So no Wikipedia, no random blogs, no things that can be edited or filtered out and written by just anybody. So I'm going to put that site : .edu, and then I'm only going to get sources over here that I know for sure are credible. Now, if you end up accidentally closing out of this tab, or if you really just want to start typing in the research results without having to right click, there's another way to get to the tab. If you go up here to Tools and then click Research, that tab will open up on its own. So you don't have to highlight, but if you want to, that's one way to open it. So now that I've got these results, I'm going to pick one that I'm going to use for my project. Now if I look over here, this one has a pretty intriguing title. So if I look at this, it says Facebook has negative effects on college students. Well, that's closely tied to what my claim is all about. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it and open up the full article. Now when I'm looking at this article, I already see a quote that I want to use for my paper. And it says right here, employers are less than satisfied with face-to-face communication skills of recent graduates, according to allbusiness.com. Well, that sounds like great support for my first main point. So I'm actually going to copy that, go back to my document, and down here where I have my digital notes, I'm going to go ahead and paste that. Now I'm going to put that into quotes because I know that that's not my own words and that's from the source. Now I also need to fill out the information up here. Once I'm sure I'm going to use that source, then if I go back to it in my tab, I'm going to have to find the information that I need. Well, here's the author, it says by. So I know I'm going to copy and paste that. That's my author's name. So I'm going to paste that here. Now you can go back in and then you're going to need to also fill in the title of the article and the web address. So the web address is going to be this. And if I go back to my tab, I can just paste it in there. Now the cool thing about having this in Google Drive is it's going to automatically save whatever I do. So no having to worry about saving, making sure something is saved properly and doesn't get lost. Now your goal today and tomorrow is to, once you've copied this, use the research tab. Remember that you have to have that filtered out. So choose good research terms and remember to add that site : .edu at the end of your search. Then once you find information you're going to use, copy down quotes, title, web address, author, date published. You should be using the next couple of days to find the information that you need for your paper. If you have any questions, make sure you ask or ask a friend / buddy. All right, I'll see you next time.